had no Machu Picchu tickets. A stranger in Cusco had arranged one night in Aguas Calientes, and we still had absolutely no idea if we'd actually get in. This is the story of how we got into one of the 7 wonders of the world without pre-booked tickets. And everything you need to know so your trip goes a lot smoother than our did. Because here's the thing, the ticketing system for Machu Picchu in 2026 has gotten significantly stricter. Online tickets are limited. They sell out weeks, sometimes months in advance. And if you're sitting there right now realizing you forgot to book, I need you to keep watching because there is still a way in, and we're proof of that. So let me take you back to Cusco. It's the day before we wanted to go to Machu Picchu. We had booked this entire Peru trip about 3 weeks before we left. Spontaneous, a little chaotic, very us. And somewhere in all that spontaneous planning, the Machu Picchu tickets just slipped through. We assumed we sort it out once we get there. We were absolutely wrong. We started asking around tour operators, travel desks, our hostel, does anyone have tickets like for tomorrow? No, no, no. Everywhere we went, it was a hard no. And we were feeling a little disappointed, but we knew that we had made that choice, so we had to live with it. But we also were not going to let it go. We had to find a way out. So there is an official Machu Picchu ticket office in Cusco, and we decided to go there, but they also said no, completely sold out. And then this is the part of story I genuinely could not have made up. A guard outside the official office quietly pulled us aside and pointed us toward local tour guide nearby. Now I want to be honest about this moment because I think it's important travel advice. 2 women outside a government office in a foreign country being approached by a stranger. We were skeptical, of course we were, but something about his demeanor felt genuine. He was more calm, specific, not pushy at all. He explained that while online tickets in the Cusco office were completely sold out, Aguas Calientes, the town which is right at the base of Machu Picchu, releases a limited amount of physical tickets for in-person purchases every single day. Now there's a fact that we didn't know. We verified online and it was true. And this is where it got interesting. So you go there, you get into queue number, you wait for your number to be called out, you buy your tickets at the counter. It's an official government system. It just requires you to be physically there. So we decided to meet this tour guide. He offered to arrange everything. A private car to Ollantaytambo, train tickets, and one night at a hotel in Aguas Calientes. We looked at each other, took a breath, and said yes. The strange part of it all was like he asked for money in cash because he was not going to take card for this transaction, and that made us a lot more nervous. But we had to take a leap of faith somewhere, and because everything was feeling right in that moment, we decided to go for it. We paid him in cash and had our fingers crossed that nothing goes wrong after this, but everything worked out. But we also ended up finding the process of actually getting Machu Picchu tickets, and that's the part. Even with the money that we were paying him, all the things that he was arranging for us, Machu Picchu tickets were not guaranteed. We still had to go physically get in line because this is the part. The tour guides cannot go and purchase the ticket for you. You still have to go in person with your passport to actually purchase the ticket. It is linked to who you are as a person, so it's an individual ticketing system. And I'll say this, it worked out completely for us, but if something ever feels off in that situation, just walk away. Trust your gut carefully. There is always another way in. This just happened to be ours. And yes, after seeing the whole process and the process that I'm explaining to you, yes, you can do this all by yourself. You do not need a tour guide to arrange all of those things. But yes, there will be a lot of logistics to arrange, going from Cusco to Ollantaytambo and then getting on the train to Aguas Calientes, booking a stay at Aguas Calientes, and of course, then actually getting the tickets. But if you can arrange those logistics all by yourself, you still have a chance. Of course, if you're going in peak season, just enter at the right times. But hold on to it, I'll explain everything. Then came the drive to Ollantaytambo. The drive to Ollantaytambo took us through the Sacred Valley, and honestly, the landscape alone was worth it. Open Andean highlands, local villages, agriculture terraces carved into the hillside. And then we boarded the train to Aguas Calientes. And this journey is genuinely one of the most beautiful train rides I have ever taken. The route descends through the valley as landscape completely transforms. Open highlands gives you way to dense cloud forest. Urubamba River runs alongside the tracks. A mist clings to the mountains above you. We had the panoramic cabin with overhead glass panels, and even the windows have a very wide circumference. So you get this incredible view upwards into the valley as you descend. You even pass through a few tunnels, and it's exciting. We ordered chips and chocolates, water was complimentary, and just sat back and watched Peru go by. One of those journeys that remind you why slow travel is worth it. Book your train tickets as soon as possible. They sell out in peak season and frequently in shoulder season too. Peru Rail and Inca Rail both operate on this route. The panoramic or the Vista Dome carriages that you will keep seeing, they are worth the upgrade. Aguas Calientes is this compact, lively little mountain town that exists almost entirely because of Machu Picchu. And the moment we arrived, before we checked in, before we explored, before we did anything, we went straight to the ticket counter to get our queue number. This is the most important practical thing I can tell you about arriving in Aguas Calientes. Everything else can wait. We arrived around 1:30 p.m. in shoulder season and secured our place comfortably. In the peak season, I would arrive as early as possible, midday at the latest. With your number secured, you have time to explore the town, eat, rest, and just be present in this place for a moment before start the day. So, can you get into Machu Picchu if you didn't book tickets in advance? Yes. And here is exactly how. The Peruvian Ministry of Culture reserves approximately 1,000 tickets every single day, specifically for in-person purchases at the ticket office in Aguas Calientes, which is the town right below Machu Picchu. These tickets are not available online. They exist precisely for a situation like this so that nobody else can buy it, and the ticket is assigned to you as a person individually. So here is the process step by step. Arrive in Aguas Calientes the day before your planned visit. Not the same morning, the day before. Go directly to the ticket office and get your queue number. You receive a time slot to return. Ours was a couple of hours later, so we went at 1:30 and we got our slot to purchase the ticket for around 5 or 5:30ish. You get your queue slot. For us it was 1:30 p.m. that we got our slot, and we returned at our allotted time. The only morning option available to us was only 10 a.m. the following morning, which was perfect for us. Have your passport and a payment method and your preferred entry time ready. We were just 2 people, me and my friend. Download or screenshot your confirmation immediately. Few things worth knowing. Entry time slots matter. Earlier slots like 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. give you the best morning light for photography and thinner crowds before tour groups arrive. And there is a 30-minute grace period on your entry time. It says 9 a.m. You must enter by 9:30 a.m. otherwise you won't get entry. After that window, you basically risk being turned away regardless of your ticket, and you do not want that. In peak season, July through August, the in-person allocation goes a lot faster. So arrive earlier and don't assume it'll be easy. And if you're reading this with time to plan ahead, book online at this site. This is the official Peruvian site to book the Machu Picchu tickets. You can also go with a tour guide to get your guide. I'll link that below as well. The online allocation is smaller than in-person one, and it runs out faster. 2 to 3 months ahead is not too early, so just book it. The bottom line, no pre-booked tickets does not mean no Machu Picchu. It means you need to be in Aguas Calientes the day before with the time to get your number. We did it. It works. Let nobody tell you otherwise. This information is important, but it's not mandatory or that crucial. While we were waiting for a number to be called, we were monitoring the tickets availability online in real time. Yes, watching the numbers for each circuit drop as people bought them. So let me break down the circuit system, because in 2026 it has gotten more detailed and choosing the right one genuinely matters. There are 3 official circuits broken down roughly into 10 routes. Here's what actually matters for planning your visit. Circuit 1 is the panoramic circuit, best if you want sweeping elevated views or plan to hike Machu Picchu mountain or the Sun Gate trail. But, and this is important, Circuit 1 does not include access to the main archaeological area or the ceremonial structures. If this is your first visit and you want the full citadel experience, Circuit 1 is not your circuit. Circuit 2 is the classic circuit, and what I'll recommend for most first-time visitors. This is the one that we did as well. It gives you the best balance of iconic viewpoints and access to the main historical areas as well. Within Circuit 2, there are 2 routes, Circuit 2A, 2B. 2B, which is what we did, is the deeper, more comprehensive exploration of the full urban sector. Circuit 2A is a slightly shorter alternative that includes the Guardian's House for the famous postcard panoramic view. Both are excellent choices, but if you want the full immersive experience, I would go with 2B. If you want the classic view with a shorter route, 2A is a good choice as well. Then there is Circuit 3, which focuses on the lower section of Citadel, and it's the only circuit that pairs with Huayna Picchu mountain. Dramatic peak you see rising behind Machu Picchu in photos. If climbing Huayna Picchu is your goal, this is your circuit. Slots are extremely limited, so book as early as humanly possible, and even after you have the slot booked, if the weather doesn't allow for it, they do close down the circuit. One important rule, one-way system is strictly enforced on all circuits. You cannot backtrack. Park rangers have authority to remove you from the site if you deviate from your authorized circuit. This is exactly why having a guide is so valuable. They know the route and you won't accidentally miss key sections. We got Circuit 2B, and when that number was finally called and we walked up to that counter, I physically felt my shoulder drop about 3 inches that we were able to get this ticket. But we did it, and so can you. The morning off, we were up early, took the bus from the town up to the entrance, and that bus rides through the cloud forest as you climb higher, and the anticipation builds. It has its own kind of magic. The vegetation thickens, the mist appears, and by the time the entrance gates come into the view, the anticipation has built so high that you feel like you've completely earned it, even though you're taking a bus and not hiking it. Buy your bus tickets also in advance at the bus office in town evening before. Don't queue for it in the morning, going to be huge lineups and it's not worth it. We had arranged our private guide the evening before, found him in Aguas Calientes, had a conversation, felt comfortable, met us at the entrance, navigated us through the lines, and from that moment the whole experience shifted into something completely different. I highly recommend having a guide. We went with a private guide. There are group guides as well that you can take, which are slightly more cheaper than having a private guide. Here's the thing about Machu Picchu that nobody tells you. The ruins themselves are extraordinary, but without context, they're just beautiful old stones. A good guide is what turns beautiful into genuinely extraordinary. I usually prefer to explore independently, I'll be honest. I like wandering without a schedule, following what interests me, taking my time. So because I'm recording, so it's much easier for me. So hiring a guide was not my instinct. Machu Picchu with someone who genuinely loves the place, explaining the astronomy, the architecture, the agricultural engineering, the birds of the clouds in the forest, it becomes something completely different. Something you actually understand rather than just admire. Our guide pointed out things we had walked straight past by. He explained why certain structures were positioned in precise astronomical alignment with the sun at solstice. He showed us the difference between Inca stoneworks and later Spanish modifications. Even helped us with photos, some of which are genuinely hilarious attempts at the classic poses. And those laughing moments became some of my favorite memories of the whole trip. Private versus guide. A private guide gives you personalized pacing and completely flexible attention. You stop when you want, ask whatever you want, never feel rushed. Group tours are more affordable and still excellent. They have their own pace. For Circuit 2B especially, where the one-way system means you cannot backtrack, having someone who knows the route is genuinely valuable. Find licensed guides in Aguas Calientes. They wear official identification as well. You can ask at your hotel, check the main square, or look near the bus stop area as well. We arranged ours, like I said, an evening before without having any issues, and I would recommend arranging everything a night before so that you feel much more relaxed on the day off. This moment meant more to me than I expected. The friend I was traveling with is my best friend from high school, and 2 years before Peru, we stood at Chichen Itza in Mexico, another wonder of the world, and there was this moment at Machu Picchu where we looked at each other and neither of us needed to say anything because we both knew two wonders of the world doing together, that's not nothing, that's actually everything. And for me personally, this was my first time in South America. I had stepped away from my career to travel and figure out what I actually wanted from life. And standing at Machu Picchu felt like this quiet confirmation that I had made the right call. That life really is big and really is beautiful, and sometimes you just have to show up for it. It exceeded every expectation I had, and I genuinely did not think that was possible. After the circuit, we came back down to Aguas Calientes for lunch at a place called Incavasi, a lovely little restaurant in town. We shared an avocado with Russian salad and a quinoa stir fry. A quinoa stir fry in Peru is a thing, and it's so delicious and simple, it's fresh, exactly what you want after a morning like that. While we were sitting, a man came in playing a pan flute on the street, just a local musician making his way through the lunch crowd. And in that moment, full from the Machu Picchu emotions, full from lunch, best friend across the table, pan flute echoing around this little mountain restaurant. It was just this perfect moment. One of those travel moments you file away and keep forever in your memory. We took the train back that evening, then a cab to Cusco, and I spent most of that journey quietly looking out the window, feeling like someone who had done something that genuinely mattered. If Machu Picchu is on your list, go. Sort out the tickets, find a guide, take the train, all of it. You will not regret a single moment. If you found the ticket section of this video useful, please share it. Genuinely, I cannot tell how many people are searching for this information and not finding a clear answer. I was one of them. If this helps even one person get into Machu Picchu when they thought they couldn't, that's exactly why I make these videos. My full Peru series is on the channel Rainbow Mountain ATV, Traveling Lima Solo, Cusco Exploration, everything linked below. And if Peru is on your list for 2026, subscribe and come along. I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.